umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Sitting members during that election and shall strictly separate ballot or slotting of names. Funds. Funds will be raised through fundraising, membership, subscription.
Catherine, are you with us?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I now invite Madam Rosemary, our Deputy Director in charge of Technical Services, to give us a preamble to this training. Rosemary, welcome.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much, everybody, all the participants, just for coming in and having the zeal to learn more about what we are doing. Thank you also for the presenters and also the management, the library management, for ensuring that our students are trained. Today is a very important day because we are training on such skills, and this is a very important skill to have as a student or a researcher. So it is very important that we are empowered with such strategies, such skills, especially those who are doing research, those who are postgraduate, the researchers and all that are now maybe doing their research. And even for the undergraduate students, the graduate students that are doing their takeaways, their assignments and all that, it is very important to have these skills for you to be able to get the information that you are looking for. And why do we have this? It's because with the information explosion out there, there's so much information, especially now that most of the information is online. There's so much information there that when you start searching, you just get overwhelmed. And for you to get the research, the information resource or the literature that you are looking for, you really have to have some of the skills. Be able maybe, for example, to limit or to broaden your literature. So especially when you are looking for a subject-oriented information resources for your research, maybe you don't know you are not very, very sure, you don't know the author, but you just want a subject coverage of information. How do you search for this? How do you make sure that you get relevant information? You are able to get the specific information that you are looking for. So you will need this you need these such skills to be able to assist you. So when you need research skills, you will be able to limit your research, or you will be able to broaden your research if you use these such skills. And that's why, as a library, we realize that we need to train our researchers on how to maneuver themselves within the overwhelming and overwhelming information that we have out there. So that when you are looking for something, you take time, you will just take a short period to be able to get what you are looking for. So on behalf of the director, I don't want to take so much time because you're already maybe 10 minutes behind. On behalf of the director, I'll just welcome you and hope that after this training, you'll be able to use these skills to use it for your research when you're researching your literature. Thank you so much and God bless you. Catherine, back to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Rosemary. We'll now go into our business of the day on this research, information searching strategy. And that is our business as librarians. Our business is to make your life easy when you're doing your research. And we normally say that librarians don't know everything, but they know how to find everything. And that is why we are training you. We'll now invite the presenter of the day, Mr. Charles Nyamache, training session. Thank you and welcome, Mr. Jamache.
Thank you, Dr. Catherine. And as my slides load, as I load my slides, allow me, first of all, welcome everybody who is present for this training. And I believe at the end of the training, we are going to be able to use the search strategies that are going to be introduced to make it easier to access information. As my slides load, allow me to introduce our guiding principles as librarians to our readers. We have certain principles that guide our activities, and these principles have been passed to us by our forefathers in the profession. We have especially 5 principles that guide us. The first principle is books are for use. So that's why we want to introduce the resources we have in the library to enable you to use them. The second principle is every reader is or a book. So every reader is or a book. So we want to ensure that you are able to access the information you want to use as a researcher or as a student who has an assignment to do. The third principle is every book its reader. We don't want you to access just anything, but what is important to you. That's why we are here. And we are going to show you how to go about doing that. The fourth principle is save the time of the reader. We want to save your time as you search for the correct or for the important information that you require for use. The fifth and last principle is library is a growing organism. Madam Deputy Director Technical Services has alluded to the fact that the world currently faces information explosion. There is massive information that is being generated daily. But from that mass availability of information, how do you filter to be able to access what is important for use? That's why we are here. And I'm going to take you through this training today to enable you to access what is important for you from the so much information that is available out there. So as you embark on the exercise of looking for the information that is important for you through the World Wide Web, there are certain key issues you need to put into consideration. And these are the keywords you are going to use to access the information that you want to use. The keywords are going to be picked from your topic of research. So as you pick those keywords, there is something you need to be aware of. The terms may have alternative words that bear the same meaning. That's words that are synonyms. They have this, they could be different names, but they have similar meaning. Words also are found in different forms. For example, we have the word labor. Labor is written one that has a O-U-R following, and there's another that omits or excludes you. From our slides, you can see an example I've given of waiver. So these are some of the considerations you need to put to come up with, so that as you pick on your keywords, be conscious of their alternative terms or the synonyms. So as you pick those terms again, ensure before you use them in the system, you introduce them to the system to search the terms for you. Ensure that the spellings are correct. Sometimes you may have to use phrase searches. Omit articles at the beginning of those phrases. A phrase where you want to use and are starting with an article an, or the is not necessary. Just omit those articles and use the keywords or the phrases without the articles. Why are these strategies important? The ones that we are going to learn today. I have mentioned to you about our guiding principles in the library profession. This is to mean when you use these search strategies, the information you are going to be able to access is information that is factual, information that meets your information needs, information that is relevant for your research work or for your assignment. This information is going to be precise, it is going to be accurate. We are going to look at how this is done when we employ the Boolean operators. This will also enable you to save on the time so that you have a lot more time to engage in other activities like writing or putting together your research work. Again, the issue of massive availability of information is here with us. In the library department, there are over 350 subscribed databases and over 2 million open access resources. These subscribed resources are those that this institution has purchased. So they are authoritative sources, sources that give you scientific information. Open resources are also resources where the library has ensured that those databases that are in the open source that are going to be availed to the readers bear information that is authoritative. So that's why as researchers, as students, you are encouraged to access your information resources from the library or web page. For print resources, the library has over 700,000 print material. So you can see the library has so much, but how now do you access what you are looking for? For the print, the library has availed the online public access catalog, OPAC. It has a user-friendly interface with a search window, which enables you to pick the information you want from the shelves. The institution also has a digital repository with over 100,000 documents that are rich in local content, research work that has been done by the institution's scholars, both from within the institution and outside. Maybe now I could take you through the institution's web page so that you can have an overview of how and where to use this particular resource. So allow me to take you to the institution's website. And take you on a tour of what the library department has availed for you to use. The page is opening, and what we expect there are the resources that I've just mentioned, both subscribed and those that are in the open source. Resources that are in the open source, as I mentioned earlier, are resources that are authoritative, but they are in the open because they are not regulated by the copyright law. That's why they have been put in the open source. So we scroll down to the bottom of the library webpage. Under research, we have especially one link there that is very important for you. That is the open access resources. Once you click on that one, it will give you a list of so many databases that will provide information in all areas of human knowledge. So whichever your area of persuasion, you will be able to get information there. Under resources, we have the digital repository where local content is archived. We have electronic journals link just below the digital repository link. And next is the electronic books. Allow me to confine our discussion to those four links. We will come back to them. So let's continue with our discussion here. Now, we have a few strategies that we wish to introduce to you. The first one is basic search strategy. We have the advanced search strategy. We look at the Boolean operators, that is and, or, and not. We also look at wildcards and truncation. We also look at phrase search technique and parenthesis. So let's go back to our databases. That is the University of Nairobi Library webpage. Let's start with open access resources. And I would want at this point to demonstrate how you can conduct a basic search using one or two of our databases here. As I said, this particular page lists databases that provide information free of charge. But that does not mean that the information isn't authoritative. Let's click on the first database, that is AgeCon. From the brief notes given, this database, what you expect there is information on agriculture, agricultural economics, agribusiness, food supply, natural resources economics, and the like. The list is long there, but within the area, the broader area of agriculture. Once we click on it, there we are. It has given us a window for basic search or simple search. Now, how do you go about conducting your search from this point? Remember, earlier we talked of how you come up with your keywords. And the keywords can be in there. We can talk of, let's talk of three types of keywords. The first type would be a single term. The second could be where, can it be where you have two search terms? And the third is phrase, where you have a phrase that you want to use to access information. Now, because our database is on agricultural economics, let's key in the word agricultural economics and search. As you can see, the system is displaying for us over 72,000 records. Again, let's be conscious of the fact that what we are looking for is information on agricultural economics. And what the system has displayed for us here is quite large, quite large. There is a manner in which we can manipulate this particular search term to be able to narrow further this particular search. But we will get there. What I want you to appreciate at this point is how some searches can give you so much. But then how do you get yourself out of such a situation where there is so much that has been displayed for you? And they may end up costing you a lot of time to access the relevant material you want to access. Let's use the same search window to look for a single term, economics. When we searched for agricultural economics, we were able to retrieve over 72 records. But now when we use economics alone, you can see the number of records that have been displayed for us here. Quite a number, over 100,000 records. So this is to tell you that sometimes it's good to look at your search terms and try to bring out what relationship do they have? What information, what is the meaning that the system is going to attach to the search term that you are going to use? Because the manner in which the search engine interprets the search term you provide is what determines the number of documents the system will display. Now, supposing we went further and used our search, expanded the search query to include other terms. Let's say economy. We use the Boolean operator and economics. We had searched economics and we got 106, over 106 records. Now we want to add one more keyword and see what the system is going to display for us. Economy and economics has given us slightly below, close to 10,000 records. So what is at play here is we are looking at the term economy and how it combines with economics and the meaning in which it's bringing out, which is now determining what the system is retrieving for us. So when we use these terms and I've combined them, when we combine them, the system will go and merge them, the two of them, in every other document that exists online. And that's what will be displayed for us. Supposing we removed the Boolean operator and then used another operator. I've used and. Let's use or and see what happens. So the relationship here is that we are instructing the system to retrieve for us any document that has the term economy or economics. So any document that has either of the two terms that we have provided here will be displayed for us, will be accessed, and it will be displayed for us. There we are. Earlier, when we searched one single term, that was economy, we had slightly over 100,000. But because we have added economics to our search, now we have slightly over 110,000. That's an increase of around 5,000 records. Yeah, around 5,000 records. So as you make use of these Boolean operators, something you need to appreciate is that you need to know which operator will work well for you. Supposing you wanted to look at a work or a document that only bears the term economy and not economic and not economics. So let's use the Boolean term operator not. We are looking for economy, and we don't want a document that has the term economics. You can see now how this reduces the number of records that the system displays for us from over 100,000 to just 3,330. So don't mind about the examples I'm using here, because they may not necessarily apply in your research topic. These are examples, but this is the manner in which you are going to use the search terms that you are going to come up with in your search, in your research area. So this is how the Borin operators operate. But then I've introduced this so that we appreciate how the symbol or basic search window operates. So let's, underneath we have this link, which is going to give us advanced search. So this is the window for the advanced search. You can see it gives you several fields, and these fields are meant for you to filter your search. In the advanced search, it is expected that you're going to be able to access more relevant information because of the information that you are going to provide. Now, let's use an example that we have used before, that is agricultural economics. Agricultural economics. Let's use that term. We want to filter this further. We want to say that this particular term that we are using is going to be picked from the title of our work. No, we are not using any of those operators. We are not using these operators. But then let's see again here. All of the fields, phrase, let's say exact phrase. We want them in the manner they appear here, right? Let's see if there's any that is giving us any limitation. So again here, remember our search here, we are going to get it as a phrase in the manner it is, in the manner that we have put it here. And it's going to be picked from the title of our work. And we are using the Boolean operator AND. So let's narrow down. Let's add some more parameters. Let's say we want to introduce the period during which we want the system to use to pick what we are going to instruct it. You can see there's quite a number. You can use the day and month and the like. So let's, for the few fields that we have filled, let's conduct a search and see what happens. Now, the system has been able to access at least one record that meets our criteria, our search criteria here. And that's what advanced search strategy is going to help you to achieve. Specificity of the or relevancy of the information material you are going to look for. So let's go back again to our slide. You've seen how the basic search window operates. You have also seen how the advanced search operates, and we have looked at how the Boolean operators work. Maybe we could also go to another database. This was the open access database. We want to try one of the subscribed databases. We could use similar examples. But ideally, what we want you to appreciate is how these search strategies work. and how they enable you to access the information that you're looking for. So let's try to access information from, let's go to the digital repository. Again, here you can see this interface enables you to conduct a simple search, a basic search for the information you are looking for. Let's use an example here for agriculture and agroforestry. Agriculture. We use the Boolean operator and agriculture and agroforestry. Let's conduct a simple search and see what the system is going to display for us. You can see there's quite a number. These are 545 records that the system has displayed for us, right? Let's change this Boolean operator with OR. So the system has actually displayed quite a number of records, over 13,000. This is because we have enlarged. What we have instructed the system to do for us is to give us any document that has the term agriculture or agroforestry. So that's why we have this very large number that has been displayed for us here. Supposing we changed to note, we use the note Boolean operator. Now, you can see there's quite a number of documents that have the term agriculture, over 13,000. So the Boolean operators and helps us to combine our keywords. The OR operator helps us to use alternative terms to be able to pick the information that you want. The Boolean operator note helps us to exclude what we don't want in our research work. So it will help us to filter what we don't want and give us what we want to use. So briefly, that is the digital repository and the simple search window that you can use to access information that has been archived there. Let's go to another database. Let's look at the electronic journals database. Quite a number of databases from the list, as you can see, quite a number, providing information in all areas of human knowledge. Whatever your area of persuasion, you will be able to pick information from here, from any of the databases that has been provided here. And there are notes that have been provided to show you what to expect in a given database. Let's try one. Let's go to Emerald. Let's try Emerald and see how it works. We will again use the same search terms that we have been using. Use agriculture and agroforestry. That's just for an example. You could be having your own, depending on your area of study. Agriculture. Let's use the term, or we could try to instruct the system to retrieve for us or match that search term with whatever exists within that particular database. You can see there is a record 31,000. That's when we search using that single term, agriculture. Let's use the Boolean operator and agroforestry. Agroforestry. So this search engine, or from this database, we were able to retrieve over 30,000 using the single term agriculture. But when we combine it with agroforestry, you can see the number of records reduces to 240. Comparatively, 240 is manageable than the over 30,000 records. So the system has matched records that have the two terms, and is what has been displayed for us here, 240 records. Supposing we used the term or, so when we use the term or, you see now what has happened here. We have over 30,000 records. What I want you to appreciate is the manner in which these Boolean operators change the relationships of these particular keywords, the two keywords, agriculture and agroforestry. So in our case here, we want any record that has the term agriculture or agroforestry. Why now the large number that has been displayed for us here? Now let's exclude agroforestry by using the term, the Boolean operator not. There we are. Now that would tell you that where the records that have the term agriculture only are very few, 238, a reduction from over 30,000. So this is how these Boolean operators are going to help us when we combine our search into looking at relationships between terms. What is it that we want to look for, and what is it that we don't want in the search results? So let's go further and look at our at the other databases. Emerald is one of the subscribed sources of information. Information there has been purchased by the institution so that our users can access information they want for research and any assignment and a scholarly assignment. We also have books, electronic books, quite a number of databases here. All of them again covering all subject areas of human study. We have the local one here, eKitabu, which has quite a number of core texts, which you can always access in your own area of specialization. Let me click on Broquest books. So you can see it also has provision for simple search, where you can key in your search term and the system can display for you the information you are looking for. There is also provision for advanced search and then browsing, where it will give you a table of content to be able to pick information from your area of association. Let's look at other search strategies. I've dealt with the Boolean operators, basic and advanced searches. Now let's look at the wildcards and truncation. And in this case, I want to narrow down to the use of the asterisk when you are searching for information. Let's look at how the asterisk can be used to bring out the relationships in our area of in our topic of our research. So the manner in which the asterisk operates is that it gives you all forms of a search term. It can be used before, after, and within a term. Whenever you see an asterisk, it's meant to represent a character or characters. Let's go to, we want us to use Google Scholar, a search engine that researchers are encouraged to use to access authoritative information and not Google. We have been using the term economy or economics. Let's see how the asterisk is going to enable us to access the different forms of this particular word. After M, let's put our asterisk there and then search. From what the system has displayed for us, you can see that words that end with just M are being displayed for us. Let me open another page, which could be a bit distant from the one that we're consulting. So the list is quite long. It's quite long. I want to pick on a good example that I'm going to show you here. Let's look at this one. I hope you can see where my cursor is playing. There's the IES, which is being given some consideration here, right? There is the IAIS for economics. At this point, we have seen economics, economies, we have seen economics. Here is economic. The asterisk is necessitating econometrics. I hope you can see where my cursor is. So simply, this is to say that where you see the asterisk, where you place the asterisk, it will replace a character there that brings about sense in terms of the meaning of the term. Let's use asterisk in between a word. And let's search. You can see what the system is giving us. We will be able to appreciate some of the functions in which the asterisk is going to play as we do our search here. So let me look for a very good example where this one is going to serve to show to enable us to appreciate how to use this particular. Let's have Bell. Asterisk. This one is displaying for us quite a number of records. Let me go to one that has a database that doesn't have quite a number of records to enable us to appreciate the use of the asterisk. That's within the open access resources database. Once, let's use the agrocon and search for econom. So let's look at this one is in another foreign language, but you can see there's economic keys here. This one in the English language, you can see economic. The next one that is in the English language, you can see economy. We can see economic here, economic. So every other form of this word is going to be displayed the system will display every form of the word economy, meaning for a word that makes sense, anything after M, if it is economics, ICS, IES for economies, econometric, all those forms, the system is going to match and retrieve for you. So this is a rarely used search strategy, but once in a while, when there's a need for you to use it, I want to believe you now know how to go about it. That is for wildcards and truncation. Let me go to phrase search. And under phrase search, I may want at some point to combine with parentheses. So let's look at how these phrases work. Let's start with this particular database. And let's look for, let's come up with a phrase. And in this case, let's start with agroforestry and agriculture and agroforestry. Agriculture and agroforestry. If you search for it in the manner that we have done, the number of records retrieved for us that the system is displaying is 78. Supposing we put this particular phrase in opening and closing inverted commas. What we have here is the 78 records for now. Before putting it in opening and closing inverted commas. Once we do this particular search, remember the earlier search had given us 78 records. This one is now giving us 1 record. The implication here is 1. After using this opening and closing inverted commas, it means that the entire phrase is bound together into 1 word. So to say that what the system now goes and searches for is a document that bears these particular terms in the manner that they have been displayed, following each other, where agriculture and agroforestry appear in the manner you see them in a document. So there's one document that bears this particular search term, this phrase term. So the importance of doing this is to enable you to enhance the relevance of the documents the system is going to display for you. And we can go further and combine this particular search. Now that is use of parentheses, we can enclose them. We can enclose them in brackets. We can enclose them in brackets and use further other Boolean operators. Let me give you a good example. I want us to look at a document that has either agriculture or forestry. So let's use the Boolean operator or agriculture or agroforestry. And we want to combine this particular search. Remember, the Boolean operator and is used to combine search terms. So again, we close the bracket, we open the bracket here. We want to introduce another phrase. Let's say wildlife. Wildlife. Or let's use domestic. Domestic animals. We also close that with a bracket. Now, the search query that you can see that I've created here, this is what we anticipate. That is, the system is going to match any record that exists within the database with this term agriculture or agroforestry. And either of these two terms will be merged with either of these other two, wildlife or domestic animals. So sometimes you have a research topic where you have several search terms. How do you go about using those search terms, which are 4 or 5, within one search query to enable you to enable the system to retrieve for you a document that is going to bear the information you are looking for. Let's search and see whether anything exists. You can see our system within this database, nothing exists. Supposing we removed domestic animal and are left with wildlife. Let us search. Still nothing. But then this does not mean that if this particular search, if used in another database, it will not yield results. Let's change this word. Let's introduce crops. Let's use beans. Boolean operator or maize. Let's search and see what happens. Still nothing much. Let's put the term trees. It's not working. Very frustrating, eh? But this is an example that is workable that we are using here. But a lot will depend on how you're going to come up with your search terms. Let's, for example, remove the opening and closing inverted commas. Nothing. Let's remove, sorry, this we shouldn't remove the last one. Let's remove the middle one. Still nothing coming. Let's go to another database. I give one more last example. We go back to Google Scholar so that I can demonstrate for you how use of these terms are going to work. Economics. economy, let's say agro-business, agro-business, well, doesn't seem to work. Let's use.
Nyamata, I think agro-business, you have spelled it maybe wrongly. That's why it's not working.
Oh, sorry, I got it wrongly. Agro-business. No, agri. It's agri-business. Agri-business.
Not correct. Put an R.
Yeah, still it's
R.
Put an R. Put an R after it.
sorry. Yeah, still it's not bring. It's not yielding. But I had changed the first ones. Let me use agriculture. Yeah, still it doesn't seem to be yielding results. But again, this is a database that has certain limitations. You see the number of records that are there isn't much. But if this particular string is used in large databases like Google Scholar, it's likely to yield some results. This is going to be our last demonstration, so that we give ourselves an opportunity to engage and interrogate in case of anything that you require to be clarified. Google Scholar. Let's use certain terms. I hope I'll get the spellings right. This is a portion or teen pregnancy and this is secondary education. Secondary education.
Let's correct the teenager. The teenager.
Oh, okay. Is it?
Maybe you can write in full. Teenager.
Let's use the brackets because we are connecting these two, or level of education. Let's search like that without introducing opening and inverted commas. What this particular search query is going to do for us, first, it will pick any document from the database which bears the term abortion or teen pregnancy, and will match either of the two with secondary education or level of education. So that's what the system is going to retrieve for us. And why it wasn't working earlier is because we have these options, which may not necessarily be, don't have to be tied together. So this is how we use parenthesis search to enable us use almost of the Boolean operators in one search query. So as you can see, we have over 267 records. Supposing we removed some of these search terms. Supposing we removed some of these search terms. I've removed level of education. And then we search. Will it bring us a lesser number of records? Yes, it has. From over 260,000 to 234,000. Supposing we went to our first bracket and remove, again, in which case we don't need, let it remain the way it is, because we wanted to appreciate how we can use one or more than one of the Boolean operators to conduct a search. We have used in this particular case or and using parentheses to be able to conduct a search. So maybe up to that point, Madam DDT, Dr. Chege, I hope I've come to the end of my presentation. We have looked at the various search strategies, the basic, and appreciated how simple it is, but again, presenting a lot of difficulties because it provides quite a number of records, so massive that you may have difficulties to be able to pick on that particular document that is going to be useful for you. We have looked at the advanced search strategy, where you are given more fields which require particular specific information. And when you provide this information, the search is more enhanced. It gives you more relevant information than the basic search. We have looked at the Boolean operators, which bring out the relationships of the search terms that you're going to use. And we combine the number of keywords you're going to come up with, or we represent the alternatives that you may need to use for your search. And the note will also exclude what you don't want from your search. For the truncation, it helps you to be able to get the various forms of the search terms that you are going to come up with. For the phrase, again, we have looked at how you can use it to access information. When you don't put it within the opening and closing inverted commas, the system separates the keywords within the phrase and will give you a large number of records. But once you put that phrase within the opening and closing inverted commas, the system will only go and match the records that exist online with the with the manner in which you have organized those search terms within the phrase. And for parentheses, we have seen how it helps us to use more than one of the Boolean operators. You can use or and within the parentheses, that's the opening and closing commas, brackets, sorry, and combine the two with the Boolean operator and you'll be able to narrow further your search once you use the parenthesis search. So thank you. I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening to me. Madam Dr. Chege.
Thank you very much, Charles. Done a very good job. I climbed from the bottom to the top. You have given us the philosophy. You have also enlightened us about the philosophy of the library. It is to make sure that the user gets what they want within the shortest time possible, and they get the right information. This training is very useful. For those who are listening, you might become senior researchers, and these strategies are going to save you all the time. You can use the same strategy accessing the OPAC, and then you can retrieve the right book from the print resources upstairs in the libraries. Thank you very much. I now invite reaction and feedback. We have had a few feedback on the chat, and now I invite anybody who wants to come on verbally, and then we can engage in a discussion. Thank you very much. Anyone who has a reaction?
How are you, Catherine?
Thank you. I'm very fine, thank you. Yes.
I'm requesting that we can get these notes.
Yeah, they'll be available. If you look at the chat, they'll be uploaded in the website.
Yes.
And there's just look at the link, you'll be given the library website. Yeah, we have every training that we do, we eventually upload them on the website after some time when we finish editing.
Thank you, Catherine.
You have seen the link. You have seen the link, eh?
Yeah, when you just to add to that, when you go to the library website, there's an area which is important, under important links. You'll see there the link to our step-by-step guides and presentations. And I think we have put the link there. You can look at the link. Maybe save it somewhere. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Kihoro is asking a repeat of the asterisk part. Is Charles still there? Asterisk and parentheses.
Charles, is Charles still there?
Yes, Dr. Chege, what did you say?
When do we use asterisks and parentheses?
Okay, maybe without going to the demonstration, yes. When you use the asterisk, let's give an example, the term, the word bell. Sorry, bell, ball, and I want to use that example. Those
since you're on the Google Scholar,
after
can you use it?
Yes. Okay. Google Scholar. Let me see. Let me get.
Maybe as you go through, maybe I can just explain.
Yeah. Yes.
As you look for it, I can be explaining as you look for Google Scholar. When we use asterisk helps you to get alternatives. For example, like maybe you are looking for information about women, but you don't want, but there's some information that you can get under woman. So if you put that after M, you put an asterisk, it will search for all information that has women and all information that has woman. And also maybe the spellings. you know the spellings of labor. Labor in American, whatever and whatever, there are many different ways of spelling. So if you want to get both, you'll put an asterisk after B so that you can be able to get information resources that are discussing about labor in both, using both languages, both the UK whatever and the American whatever spellings, both spellings. So that the asterisk helps you to do that, so that you don't leave out any information resource that will be good for you, that you'll be able to want to use, that will be relevant for you, and yet maybe the spellings are different. So that's what an asterisk does. Maybe now, Nyamache, you are ready, you can take up.
Yes, thank you, Madam DDT. As you have explained, that's what the asterisk would do. For example, I've typed, using Google Scholar, I've typed FAV, I've put the asterisk and R. So if you looked at the first document that has been displayed here, let me highlight and you'll see the word favors there, right? If I went further down, you will see there is some other form of the word that is being displayed there. There's also the variability that's being given here. So that's what has been explained, that the asterisk represents characters that are missing in a word. And because you want to capture all the forms of that particular word, you use the asterisk instead of now like typing favor using OUR, and again you're going to conduct another search where now you meet you. Instead, use the asterisk and it will work out for you. You'll be able to access information that has that particular search term in any of its forms. And as for the parentheses, you realize we have up to, let me conduct another search here using parentheses. So parentheses is as a result of the commas that we have in there. Not the comma, the bracket. The bracket is the parentheses. So let me type economy. Yes, economy. And use the Boolean operator OR. And then use economics. I close that bracket. So what I'm instructing the system to do for me is to match these two search terms. If economy is not there, I would prefer economics. That's what I'm instructing the system to do for me. Either to give me information or documents that have the term economy or economics. But I want to go further. I want to enlarge this particular search. And I want to introduce another aspect of this particular search. Let's say agriculture. Sorry, let me get the spellings right. Agriculture or agroforestry. So ideally, what this particular search query means, I'm instructing the system to give me information that has the term economy or economics, if economy is not there. And I wanted this combined with agriculture or agroforestry. Those are the options I'm working with. And then I will say search. So this is what this is what the system must display. From the first one, you can see there's economics of agriculture. This one has been picked, economics and agriculture. right? So this is how parenthesis search works. I had 4 search terms. So that I'm able to come up with one search string. I use these Boolean operators, one for alternative, and then I combine either of these with these other 2 alternatives. I don't know whether I've been able to answer whoever had come up with the question.
Any other
I don't know whether that
question?
answers.
I believe so, because it has a response.
I have
Thank
seen
you.
the person has written, they are satisfied. They're saying thank you.
Any other? Madam Rosemary, any addition?
Not really, but I think we have learned a lot. That
At least now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can now search, do thorough searches using all the methods. Lydia, do you want to talk? Okay. And these are very important training, and it will be repeated in future. Maybe you can pass the word to those who have not. I can see we were many in the room, but just encourage your colleagues to join us in future, because this will help you, especially when you are doing your research. You'll be able to save time. You'll be able to get the right information, relevant information, and you'll be very comfortable when you are doing your research. I think if there is no any other query,
Hello,
we are still
sorry,
open.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Fred.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. I do have a question. Okay, first of all, let me say thank you very much for this very timely training, because it is a challenge for students when they're in the library and they're really trying to get some research. There are so many books, but you don't have the method of getting them. So I want to say thank you very much for this particular training. Now, my question, it may have been canvassed before I joined, but kindly, is it possible to just go through the OPAC system and how, if you're in the library, how you can retrieve books which talk about a specific topic that you're interested in researching?
Charles?
I think that's, yeah. Or either Charles or Timothy, if they are there. Maybe Charles is off, but even Timothy can try that. Okay. Charles is there.
You can see he's on the screen.
Okay. I think as he tries to get where the OPAC is, we just have to know that all these search strategies that we have discussed, they can be used even when you want to get a specific book that you are looking for in the library. Because we informed you that we have over 700 books, 700,000 books as print. And for you to get those, the books, the exact book that you want, we realized that we needed an online catalog. And we have an online catalog with us, and it's very easy to be able to get information. And you can still use these such strategies to narrow your search, and to be able to get this, especially when you don't know the author, be able to get the specific information, especially when you are looking for a subject area, not really the author, but a subject area. So I think, Manyamacha, are you ready? So I think that is something maybe we needed to start. Yeah.
Yes, I hope the library page is displaying.
It is on, Nyamacha.
Yeah, 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 this is the interface. This is the interface for the OPAC. You can see there's some images playing there, and we have a search window at this point, right? Supposing we wanted to read something that has been written by, for example, Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Ngugi wa Thiong'o. I hope I'm getting the, sorry. Wa Thiong'o. Is that correct?
It is correct.
Yes, it is. We wanted to see what the library has by this particular author. So we conduct our simple search there. Actually, the OPAC interface is very user friendly. Once you insert your search term there, and normally we have three approaches of access to our print resources. One, you must be having, not must, it's either you have the title, you know the title of a work that you want to access. You also know the author of the work that you want to access. When you don't have those two, you must be having the subject area. You know what you want to read about. So those three access points have been provided for by our system. So as you can see, there are up to 69 results when you type Ngugi wa Thiong'o. So the system is displaying for you different works by this particular author. So you will scroll through. Let's assume you wanted to read this particular novel, A Grain of Wheat. Then you'll click on it. Once you have accessed this particular page. Now, our system of organization of the books on the shelf is alphabetical. Our classification scheme uses the letters of the alphabet to organize our books on the shelf. As you can see, Ngugi wa Thiong'o's book, Grain of Wheat, starts with the letter PR, right? So this is the information you require as a user. This is the notation that has been assigned to this particular book for purposes of organizing it on the shelf. This is the number, this is the record that you'll pick, go with it to the shelves where you'll be able to come across where this particular number is. We have shelf guides on the shelves to show you what collection is found where. The shelf guides are in two formats. The first one shows you the thematic areas. In this case, this is literature. Where is literature works organized on the shelf? Where are they found? Where are the shelves for works on literature? Where are works on technology? Where are works on sociology and the like? Once you get to the shelves, you will find that these books have been organized using these particular notations, letters of the alphabet. This one is PR. When you come, before you even reach PR, you know the sequence would start with P, just P. P1, our classification uses a mixed notation, letters of the alphabet, and the Arabic numerals. So when you come to P, you will be required to move, you progress towards PR. You start from P, BA, PP, BC, PD, advancing like that towards Z within the main class of P. So from PA to PR, that's where you will go. Once you get to where PR is, PR will also start with 1, right? But for our case here, what we have is PR 9,381.9. So even within PR, you will have to move progressively from PR1 towards PR 9,381.9. You will also get to where we have PR 9,381. From there, you will again start to advance because PR 9,381 point, it will also start with the point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, up to point 9. So again, what I want you to appreciate is the systematic arrangement, progressing from the lowest to the highest. Once you get to PR 9,381.9, this is point N. In this sequence, again, you will come across point A, point B, point C. Again, you'll have to progress further towards point N. So there is that systematic progression from the lowest to the highest, with the alphabet as the main class, in this case, PR. If you are in sociology, there is going to be HM, for example. The notation will change. But for literature, where Ngugi wa Thiong'o's Grain of Wheat novel is found, it is PR. So you will take note of this particular call number. It's the one that you're going to use to be able to retrieve information from the shelf. Now, it is good that I emphasize on this. Your access points are just 3. Through author, through title, but when you don't have any of those 2, you will not be lost because you always have a subject in mind of what you want to read. So you'll use that subject to be able to access what you are looking for. This particular interface may not give you a breakdown of the subject areas as such, right? But we have the interface that the staff use to input this data. And the information that you are going to have, the subject area for any particular given document is captured. So that if yours is an area in, let's say, anthropology, and you want maybe to look at a certain community, all that information is provided for. It is in the system. Once you key in those search terms, the system will display for you in the manner it did for us when we keyed in Ngugi wa Thiong'o. I don't know whether
Nyamache,
is okay. Yes.
Nyamache,
Yes.
Nyamache. Yeah,
Yes.
just go to the, I think also they should understand that these strategies that we have discussed can also be used in our, in the OPAC, in the online access catalog. So just go to the search engine and put economics, then use the Boolean logic of and. Just go to the Nini, put the Boolean logic of and, economics, then Boolean logic and then put business, so that they can see that this thing, it works for all. These strategies that we are giving, it can work with the OPAC, it can work with the databases and all that. So when you click on that, you'll find that you'll get all the books, the books that have business, and they also have economics. So that is a strategy that is very, very, can work very well even in the OPAC. You can go back, Nyamache, and put now in the quotation so that they can see business and economics in under with the quotation. Put the quotation marks. Put the quotation marks. The other side, you can put the quotation marks, and they can see the difference of the first and the second. This one gives both. It gives both. Economics, just remove the and. The and now you have put already the Boolean logic. Put the normal and now, because we are putting them in a quotation mark. We are removing the logic, the Boolean logic. And you can now, yeah. And you'll see that you'll find books that have, you can see that they are quotation marks make sure that you get the whatever the terms together, and you can see you have we are having those terms that are together. They are closely together. So even in the OPAC, you can still get the specific book that you are looking for. If you don't have the author and you don't have the other one is what Nyamache that you had mentioned, the author and the title. If you don't have the author and you don't have the title, but you want a certain subject area, you can still use the strategies to search for the subject area that you are looking for. So that's what I just wanted to emphasize on for the person who had asked this. Thank you, Nyama.
Yeah, thank you, Rosemary and Charles. That, these strategies can be used across. That's the bottom line, and it can save your life. It can save your day and save your time. Any other reaction? Thank you very much. And I think now we can close the training until we announce for another training. But we shall repeat this one until people get used to it in the subsequent trainings. So I just want to thank all of us for participating in this session. Let's assume that this was just a sensitization process. Now you have a bit of idea, and then we shall conclude time for this particular training and other trainings. So thank you very much, and I wish you a good weekend. We shall close this session with a prayerful song from Timothy Nzioka. Timothy, we have lost power. Timothy, Rosemary. Timothy, I think we have had a blackout. We are almost losing connectivity. Tim.
Hello.
Yeah, we are back.
Yeah,
Maybe she can just pray.
Okay.
Pray we finish before we are locked out again.
Yeah.
Timothy seems to be not in a position.
Okay, Milka, pray for us. We continue.
Let's close with the word of prayer. Our Father and our God, we want to come before you again, thanking you because you have seen us throughout the week. Father, we have even come to the end of our training. Father, we pray that even as you disperse us with thy blessings, Father, even remember our families wherever they are. For this, in the mighty name of Jesus, we do pray and believe. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Is the song on? Is the song available? Timothy.
Hello.
The song available as we close?
Yeah. Allow me to play.
Play it.
You can play as people exit.
Yes.
Some